My people, I greet you now. For today, we go to talk about two major things wey happen recently for this our obodo Nigeria. First, na wetin one of our presidential candidates wey be APC flag bearer talk for im rally when e do for Uyo for Akwa Ibom State. Una know the APC flag bearer na im name na Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And another thing we go still dey talk about na about this new currency, this new Naira note when it just come out. See the palava when that thing dey cost now, e pass the remedy when they say e wan do. People dey fight themselves for just to get the new Naira note. You go ATM, the queue too long, and at the same time you go party, you see people dey spray the money anyhow, dey mash am, dey do am anyhow. I don't know why they bring policy when e go come make things dey more difficult for people than for things to dey easy. So make una watch this video, make una see wetin we dey talk about, and don't forget to like the video, share, and you can also subscribe to this channel to dey get more of our updates. Thank you.
Presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress continues to brew on Monday. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC flag bearer, during the party's rally in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, said he rescued Atiku Abubakar from Nigeria's former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who he said wanted to roast Atiku like goat meat before he ran away to Dubai. But then when it was time for the election, Atiku returned to the country. Tinubu also boasted of making Atiku Abubakar Nigeria's Senate president and said the PDP has no mandate. Let's listen in before we take some reactions.
They have no mandate. What they have na ice cream. It melt quick. You get me? They are yeye people. Atiku, when we make him Senate president, Abba, you sell this, you sell that, assets, our commonwealth, our patrimony, everything that we have, we sell them, we become skeleton. Atiku no care.
As vice president.
As vice president.
Dr. Bati, over to you. Well, this has generated a lot of reactions. Should I take a reaction before I come to you?
Okay.
Should I do that? All right. Well, Olalaye wrote, Tinubu commits yet another blunder. He said when we made Atiku Senate president, number one, Atiku was never the Senate president. Number two, at what point was Tinubu part of any process that made Atiku the vice president of Nigeria? Red flag. Well, if we make Tinubu president, the cabal will be more in charge than ever. Dr. Bati?
Well, I saw this on social media.
Yeah.
You know, many persons have commented on it, and I think the point has been made out there that Atiku Abubakar was never Senate president. He was vice president. And in any case, at the time that Atiku Abubakar was vice president, he and Atiku Abubakar were not in the same political party. So even if what he meant was vice president, you know, he was not in a position to make him vice president. But he said Senate president. And that's why people are, you know, a bit scandalized. And then he went further also. I saw another report saying, he was saying they scored F1. I don't know. The time I took a school start, although F9 was too far away from me, there was no way I could have moved in that direction. What I had was F9 that other people were getting. So, I mean, that again, you know, will be considered ridiculous by people who are very familiar with F9, that category of grading in WASP, you know. So, but in any case, the funny part of it is that he made a third point that Obasanjo wanted to roast Atiku Abubakar like goat meat. I know a lot about President Obasanjo, but I'm not aware that suya is part of his prefer delicacies, because it's people who like suya, who roast goat meat. However,
Yes.
there has been a very robust response from the PDP. A statement by Frank Shaibu, which I thought was rather aggressive and irreverent. Frank Shaibu was on this program, and I told him that, look, the kind of verbal violence that oozes out of his pen is a bit, on the extreme side. He was advising Nigerians that they should be careful, that a presidential candidate who does not even know a person's antecedents, his opponent's antecedents, or the difference between F9 and F1, should not be allowed to go and turn Aso Villa into a sanatorium or a mental health institution. And I thought that was a bit on the irreverent side, So even when the PDP spokespersons are responding to this, they should moderate, their speech in line with the provisions of the law. In fact, Frank Shaibu even counted the number of girls. He said there have been 12 so far from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I don't think I've taken up to 12.
Well, that's what Frank Shaibu said in his statement.
Yeah.
But all of this, constitute distractions. But he made a point about the health of whoever wants to be president of Nigeria, so that we don't, according to him, I'm just quoting the response from PDP, that we don't send Mr. Sabinos to go and represent us at United Nations, or clean that drunk to, the United Nations. But all of that, now that we're just about 24 days to the election, can we, focus more on the issues?
I'll take Frank Shaibu's point there. We need a president who can represent us globally.
Yes. I mean, we need, and that's why we also need a president that we know his health records. Because a lot has happened in this country. And let's not forget that. A lot has happened in this country. I was having a sit down yesterday, and the person was taking me through the Yaradua days. We can't afford to go through days like that any longer. We all saw what happened. Even when we had this administration, we all saw what happened. A president lived the country for over 100 days. Again, that's why I say political candidates should release their health records. In all fairness to him, yes, he said he was going to empower people in Akwa Ibom, that they should see the things he has done in Lagos, that he pretty much made Lagos and all of that, which a lot of people have argued and tackled and said, no, Lagos has been a British Crown colony for so many years, since the 1800s. In fact, at 1863, you had ordinances set up by the British colonial government then, to map out streets on the island as we speak today. So Lagos had been many years ago. So he said he had done, the Lekki Seaport, he had done rail, and all the political stuff. And he said he would give prosperity. He said he did the Lekki Seaport. And he will also do seaport for them. Then now to the gaffes. Let's not deceive ourselves. These gaffes are becoming unbearable. In the space of a week or two, Atiku Abubakar has assumed two different personalities. At first, I'm not sure you took that story. He first called Atiku Abubakar the governor of Anambra State.
I think, no, that actually was not correct. That was an edited video. It wasn't correct.
Okay.
Yes. So
it was not correct.
Correct.
Okay.
I had to research. And
Yeah, you had to research that. Good for correcting me. But that video also circulated, Secondly, the constant gaffes, now calling Atiku Abubakar the Senate president before he was corrected. Also, the misalignment of historical evidence and facts. Like Dr. Abati pointed, they were both in opposing party. He was in the Alliance for Democracy and Atiku Abubakar was in the PDP. Then leading up to now saying, they did a lot together and all of that. Yeah, they might have had political alliances, give it to them. But misrepresentation of history, claiming ownership for things that obviously you'll know that wasn't done, and all the gaffes, these are becoming one too many. And I just hope the Nigerian people are introspecting and looking deeply and the candidates too will be good enough to share their medical records.
Absolutely.
Because this country can afford not to go through the Yaradua years any longer.
All right then. Let's take another story. The Central Bank of Nigeria's cashless policy and the redesigned currency continues to generate mixed reactions despite the extension of the deadline for the swap of the old Naira notes for new ones at commercial banks by 10 days. Many have expressed concerns at the long queues at ATM locations across the country. Videos showing Nigerians waiting at ATMs have flooded social media. Frustrated ATM users were even seen fighting just to get their hands on the new currency. While other videos showing Nigerians spraying the new notes at events have also elicited several reactions on social media.
All my guys are ballers, all my girls are coming. All my guys are ballers, I know the girls are coming. It's your body Nakila, and if I touch my fellow, baby girl is a diva, and if I touch my fellow, wow, you don't know me, W-A-N-D-E, cool. That's how I roll. For the girls, them I come to my show. Batman, you don't know me. W-A-N-D-E. Cool. That's how I roll. For the girls, them I come to my show. I don't want no enemy. I don't want no yaw. I just sip my energy. And all of them call the power out. They want tip my energy. And if they like me, they holler.
Well, more reactions show the deadline for the return of the old currency, with Nigerians in the diaspora voicing their concern. Sports journalist Colin Udo wrote on Twitter, "I have some old Naira notes with me. So far, I haven't seen or heard of any plans by the central bank for folks in the diaspora with old Naira notes to exchange theirs. Am I missing something?" He tagged the chairman of Nigerians in the diaspora, Abike Dabiri. Well, in response, Abike wrote, "Do Nigerians in diaspora keep or spend Naira notes abroad? Am I missing something?" Well, Twitter users responded to Abike. Bliss wrote, "Read to comprehend. I always carry Naira notes too, cause I hate changing money at the airport. I currently have 50,000 Naira that will just go to waste. And I know people who have way more. It's just not sensible that we weren't considered, and time frame was short." Well, Uncle Shola wrote, "You are totally disconnected from the country you claim to be serving, and you only ever defend your meal ticket on this timeline. Every Nigerian who is not government-sponsored, like you, coming from abroad, carries a decent amount of Naira to get through your airport in peace." Ayo.
So many things to say. First of all, going back to the first video, that was actually very provocative. It's provoking to Nigerians who are on the queue, on the ATM, going back to the initial video you showed, where they are fighting to get the Naira note, and then you see people who have access because of perhaps status or wealth, who have access to this money and are able to just spray it flagrantly. First of all, like Dr. Batia mentioned, it is illegal. And it's, as we often say, there are laws in this land. The challenge is effecting these laws. And so the first thing I would want to say is that we see the faces, we see the pictures, we see the people. We probably can investigate the event center. Can we fish them out and actually make them examples so that people are a bit more afraid to look at that? People spending on this thing that people are fighting for, crying for, is what people are here throwing on the floor and just partying with. Yesterday when I went out, POS agents, most of them, they weren't operating. Why? They didn't have money. They didn't have access. So you're depriving people of their daily livelihood because they can't, that's how they earn money. And they couldn't make money. They are far-reaching, impacts of this scarcity of notes. And so there should be examples made of these people. We want a redesigning, the VP had come out to say that it was important for the country. But if it's scarce, then there's no point. So these are some of the things that we have